Hello there and welcome to Quote of the Week episode 2, where we're going to be looking at a quote from Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. The quote we're going to be looking at today is, "If they would rather die, said Scrooge, they had better do it and decrease the surplus population." You should be getting into the hang of this by now, but you'll need your whiteboards to annotate the quotation. You should be looking for techniques and language devices. You should be completing keyword analysis, so discussing what words suggest and mean. You should be talking about the writer's possible intentions, impact on the audience, and finally, what we learn about life at the time. So get your whiteboards ready and start annotating today's quotation. Okay, well done for having a look at that quotation. On the screen in front of you are a variety of techniques that Dickens has employed to create an impression of Scrooge. This quotation reflects the perspective of Malthusian economics that would be held by many people who supported the poor law. And it also reflects a callous perspective, especially for someone whose work directly affects the poor. The word surplus is used on purpose because it's a mathematical term, and this dehumanises the entirety of the poor. It also indicates that Scrooge is extremely ignorant to the true face of poverty, which he only really gets to know when he meets Tiny Tim and the Cratchits. He is implying here that the poor are lazy. In terms of its position as a conditional statement, he's implying that this is the only reasonable outcome for the poor. In other words, that it's better if the poor are murdered. On this screen are some examples of vocabulary that you might want to use in an essay exploring this quotation. Take a minute to look at the words on the screen. If there's any language you don't understand, discuss it with your PD tutor. And finally, on your whiteboards, there's a few questions that you might want to ponder. Firstly, how might a Victorian audience respond to this character? Secondly, how is Dickens trying to make us feel about Scrooge? And finally, why does Dickens portray Scrooge in this way in Stave 1? How does the character develop over the course of the story? On the right hand side of the screen you can see a model answer, and feel free to pause it now and copy down a few ideas for yourself that you might use in your impending GCSEs. As ever, if you've got any questions about your English, speak directly to your English teacher or come and visit Mr. Hoole in English 1. All the best, bye.